Do y'all remember how much exciting it was when we heard the NBA was returning? I sure do. This season was showing so much promises. The Lakers-Clippers rivalry, Milwaukee Bucks looking to make a playoff run, as well as the promising Boston Celtics. Instead, the Heat blitzed the Bucks and made it all the way to the finals, while the Clippers got knocked out in the second round in the West. Welp. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 4 most disappointing players in this year's playoff.
Be my baby, be my lady, we go crazy.
Number 1. Pascal Siakam. Who would have thought that the 27th pick in the 2016 draft get the main role on the Raptors? Even though Siakam was looking like an average player at best in the beginning of his career, just 2 years later, he had multiple 30-plus point game in the NBA Finals. Many would say that the Raptors don't win the championship without Siakam, and I think they're right. After Kawhi decided to leave, Siakam secured the bag and signed a $130 million contract as the Raptors expected him to be their main option. He upped his scoring average and made the All-Star weekend this season. To be fair, the Raptors were doing great in the playoff, but same could not be said for Pascal. It looked like he was still too immature to be the first option. He was shooting under 40% pretty much the whole playoff, and he struggled from the three-point line. He didn't look like the leader everyone expected him to be at all. He was hesitant, struggled to score, and also very inefficient. I believe if he was half the closer that Kawhi was last year on the Raptors this postseason, they would have probably got past the Celtics and maybe even the Heat. All in all, I still think that Siakam will be capable of leading the Raptors in the futures. He probably just lacks the experience needed to do well in the playoff. Give him some time. Number 2. Paul George. After his MVP caliber season and disappointing early exit to the Blazers in the 2019 playoffs, Paul George decided to team up with Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers in hopes of winning a championship. He was averaging pretty good numbers during the regular season as the Clippers finished seconds behind the Lakers in the Western Conference. It was the playoff where PG started to struggle. In the first round against the Mavericks, he pretty much only had one good game. Other than that, he was a non-factor. He was missing wide open threes and some of his shot even missed the rim. It was kind of funny seeing how badly he played, especially after he called himself Playoff P. Boy, was he getting hate this year, and I don't even think it was undeserved either. Before the playoff began, he had beef with Damian Lillard and was talking a lot of trash, saying Dame was going to get sent home and whatnot. Well, PG wasn't wrong. Dame did got sent home, but it was not like he was averaging 9 points a game. Lillard was the bubble MVP and was playing pretty much the same in the playoffs. On the other hand, PG was trash. Then he wanted to pull some BS with saying he was in a dark place. Man, come on. I probably speak for everyone when I say that PG was a huge disappointment this year in the playoff after that amazing individual season with OKC. I actually like PG in OKC. It felt like he was locked in so much more than he is right now. His game did the talking. Who knows? Maybe being in LA got into his head. Number 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo. To be honest, nothing much has changed with the Bucks since last season. They were still an amazing regular season team led by one of the most dominant players in the league. Coming off his second MVP season and also winning the Defensive Player of the Year this year, the expectations were big for Giannis in the Bucks. Giannis has stated that he doesn't care for individual awards and he just wants to win. That fact also puts a lot of pressure on the whole organization. As expected, Milwaukee got past Orlando very easily, but then they run into the Heat. They lost the first 3 games of the series. Now, who would have expected that to happen? Their zone defense was a bad match for the Bucks offense as Giannis was mostly inside scoring. Giannis didn't quite play on the MVP level this series. He was missing a lot of free throws and he wasn't dominant as he usually is. In game 1, Jimmy Butler was unstoppable and nobody could stop him on the Bucks, but Giannis didn't even try to guard him. If you are the leader of one of the best teams in the league, at some point you have to step up defensively and take responsibility. Even more so if you are the Defensive Player of the Year. This made the fans and probably the whole year question Giannis' mentality. People were calling Giannis the best player in the world, and as great as his game was, it was still incomplete. You can't be the best player in the world, and especially in this era, if you don't have a consistent jumper. Russell Westbrook. Westbrook had a very good season with the Rockets this year as their small ball lineup, to everyone's surprise, looked like it could actually work. He averaged 27, 8, and 7 through the season. He changed his play styles now that he takes more mid-range shots and rarely shoot threes. But again, as all of the players on this list, he struggled in the playoffs. But Westbrook struggled for different reasons. When the bubble was announced and the team was traveling to Orlando, Westbrook didn't arrive with the Rockets. It was later known that he was tested positive for COVID-19. That being said, he didn't trade for 21 days. And once he finally joined the team before the playoff began, he suffered a quad injury. He got back in Game 5 against the Thunder, but he didn't look like his old self for the rest of the series. Even though his team won in 7 games, he had a lot of lowlights in the series, especially in the fourth quarter. Bad decisions, air ball, bad passes. In the second round, we saw Westbrook get bullied by LeBron the whole series. LeBron even posterized him and blocked him multiple times during the series. The Rockets were overwhelmed by the Lakers and got destroyed on the inside. I mean, no surprise here. I mean, Lakers have the best power forward in the league. After his disappointing performance in the playoff, Westbrook said that he wasn't 100%, but he didn't want to make any excuses, and right now, he's focused on fully healing for the next season. It will definitely be interesting to see the Rockets play style next season since Mike D'Antoni left and the small ball was unsuccessful. Tell us your thought in the comments and make sure to show support by liking and subscribing. With that being said, have a wonderful day. Peace out.